This is the audio version for Freedom and Movement for the Native American people. We first start off with Cherokee life before colonization. The Cherokee Nation originated in northern Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. They were a heterogeneous tribe, accepting many different people into their tribe, including Europeans and Africans. There were 7 different clans in the Cherokee Nation, each with a council leader. A Cherokee family worked to provide everyone through farming, hunting, and gathering. The Cherokee Religion. The Cherokee believed that the land they lived on was sacred and the center of the universe. Everything in nature had a soul, including the rocks, trees, and soil around them. Therefore, the land around them was sacred and shall not be tainted. The Cherokee Lifestyle. In Cherokee society, there was a clear divide between the work that men did and the work that women did. Men were responsible for hunting and helping harvest crops. The women were responsible for tending to the crops, as well as raising the children. Cherokee lineage was matrilineal, meaning that the descendants were based through the mother's lineage, not the father's. Iroquois life before colonization. The Iroquois tribe originated in northern New York, conquering many lands around the Great Lakes region. Instead of having clans, they had sub-tribes, totaling 5 in the larger Iroquois tribe. As one unified tribe, each sub-tribe had a representative into a proto-bicameral legislature, just like we do in the United States today. Iroquois Society. In each sub-tribe, the Iroquois Society revolved around the central longhouse. It was a place for ritual, and it was a good representation of how they worked together. Agriculture was their primary source for food, where the women determined how the food would be distributed. It was a matrilineal society, very similar to the Cherokee. The leaders of each sub-tribe were chosen by the women as well. The European arrival. The European impact. Trading posts. The new settlers learned quickly that trading with the Native Americans would be beneficial to them, giving them access to luxuries and food. The arrival of the Europeans took advantage of the gift-giving cultures. This flooded the Native Americans with European goods such as muskets and gunpowders, creating a dependence on Europeans. Items traded by the Cherokee and Iroquois. Deerskin, pelts such as bear, raccoon, fox, and otter, arrows, slaves, tobacco, and corn. Items traded by the Europeans included muskets and pistols, knives, flint, and clothing. The European impact. Disease. During the later half of the 16th century and throughout the 17th century, irreversible changes occurred across the cultural landscape of the southeastern United States. Many factors were responsible for these changes. However, the most devastating change was brought about by the most minuscule of agents, the microbes who bore disease deadly to the natives. Cherokee Crisis, the Trail of Tears. Cherokees, the President of the United States has sent me with a powerful army to cause you, in obedience to the Treaty of 1835, to join that part of your people who have already established in prosperity on the other side of the Mississippi. This quote is from General Wilfield Scott's address to the Cherokee Nation. In this address, he is warning the Native Americans that they need to leave their homes peacefully and go to the far west past the Mississippi River. He goes on to say that they have to obey him and that the President and that they have warned them what this was going to happen. Experiences on the journey. By March 1839, all survivors had arrived in the West. No one knows how many died throughout the ordeal, but the trip was especially hard on infants, children, and the elderly. Missionary Dr. Elizur Butler, who accompanied the Cherokees, established that over 4,000 died, nearly a fifth of the Cherokee population. Two-thirds of the ill-equipped Cherokees were trapped between the ice-bound Ohio and Mississippi rivers during January. As one survivor recalled, "Long time we traveled on the way to new land. People feel bad when they leave old nation. Women's cry and make sad wails. Children cry and many men cry, but that they say nothing and just put heads down to keep on going west. Many days pass and people die very much." Iroquois Crisis. During the years of the Beaver Wars, the Five Nations had been supported fitfully and inconsistently by the English, particularly at Albany. As long as they fought alone against the French and the Far Indians, the Iroquois were glad enough to be the allies of British against France. It was a perfect setup. If the French trespassed, the English were committed to help French and English. Furthermore, would it be fearful of offending the Iroquois, lest they ally themselves with the other side. And that concludes the audio version for the map.